You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ12. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ12 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Can you give some insight as to what happens behind the scenes of the whole hiring, the interviewing and hiring process? Like from the angle of what recruiters see and just your knowledge of what that looks like that we don't know about.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And that's why I tell people we'll get into it, but it's really so many variables involved in hiring someone. Because we sometimes will post a role not even necessarily ready to hire for it. It may be something where we're trying to test the market, or if it's something we know we may need down the road. Like let's go ahead and get this going, because based on the data we've seen, it takes X amount of weeks or months to fill this role.
Yeah.
So let's just go ahead and get the pipeline started so that we can be ready to go.
So can we? I know you can't give an exact number, but you say X amount of weeks or X amount of months. Like what's like somewhat of a range in terms of like how long that could kind of take?
From time to hire. So time to hire is like from a person applies to they sign the offer letter.
Yeah.
On average, depending on like if it's like a mid to senior role, you're going to look at like 12 weeks.
Yeah. Okay.
That's standard. Nothing's on fire type of recruiting operations.
Yeah.
Now, if something happened, we need to pivot quickly. Like we really need to get someone in. Someone resigned. We didn't think it was going to resign. Recruiters have the capability. Okay, like all my focus is on this. Like we're going to get this knocked out. In half the time. But if we're just letting the process flow, like it can definitely take 12 weeks for like a mid to senior position.
When a fire happens or something happens unexpected, someone resigns. Do recruiters have the power to shorten the interview process? So instead of like, let's say there's 5 rounds of interviews that are expected for a role, do senior recruiters have the freedom? And I know you can't speak for every company, but just kind of somewhat generally speaking, do they have the power to say, hey, you know what? Because we're on a time crunch, we're going to go ahead and cut this down to maybe 4 rounds of interviews or maybe even 3 rounds of interviews?
Yeah. So most companies and recruiters themselves have the power to be a little bit more agile with the process.
Okay.
Depending on what we're looking for, what skill set are we assessing, what, level of leadership, if that's the case, they're going to fall within the organization. But that's usually determined in the very beginning of the process.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ12. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ12 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
So a recruiter gets with the hiring manager, sometimes with HR, just depending on how the company is set up, and they do a kickoff meeting, which is essentially you gather all the information, like what do we need, what's the skill set, is there a location they need to be in, educational requirements.
Yeah.
And during this process, you're also drafting the job description, like what are we going to go to the market with to try to attract. But during that conversation, usually led by the recruiter, they try to make a recommendation to the hiring leader what makes sense for this process. Like, do we need, them to speak with 10 people? Like, sometimes usually in cases like that, the hiring leader, and just a quick nugget, oftentimes hiring leaders want these very elaborate hiring processes just so that if it goes south, there's blame to go around. Just to be honest, like it's like I wasn't the only person that said like they spoke with all these different people and we all made a decision to hire this person. So I've seen that a lot, and that's something that the recruiter has to try to manage. Is like, this isn't the way we should go about doing it. Like, we should do the assessment and just be confident in our decision. And if this person needs coaching, then we do that and we follow the steps after the fact. But let's not go ahead and think that, let's not try to find a scapegoat before we even make the hire.
That's hilarious.
So that happens a lot. But to answer your question, like, yes, like there is flexibility around structuring the actual interview process, like what all is involved. Because sometimes we'll look back at data from previous interview processes and be like, okay, was that case study really necessary? Was that assessment really necessary? Like, it prolonged the process. We feel like we may have lost some good candidates because they chose not to do it. Because if someone is confident in their capability and they're going through a lot of different interview processes, and then you pop in with like, hey, we want you to do this take-home assignment, I've seen candidates be like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm good. Like, I have a couple other things going on. And so now we've missed out on this great candidate because they chose not to, follow our process. So I try to make sure, hiring managers understand, like, we only have so much influence. Like, we're dealing with people. Like, they can choose to do what they want to do. We're not selling like a product or a software where it's, like we can manipulate it like we want to. Like, they get to make a choice.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ12. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ12 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.